Greetings and salutations, gamers. Welcome to Cast Co-op, the podcast in which three podcast hosts cast together. I am one of your hosts, Luke Lore, the Insipid Ghost, back after a long hiatus. We missed you all. Thank you for joining us. Tonight, I am joined, of course, by Season Gaming's Bitcast host, Mr. Ainsley Bowden. He's lit, he's lively, he's very pale. Handsome as ever. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing all right. Joe joked that I have reached heaven, so I'm here. It looks the same. I don't know what's changed, but yeah, I'm sure. Hopefully something good. Yeah, we don't know what the hell's going on with my camera. I'm just going to be about as white as Luke on a normal Tuesday. So we'll just run with it.
Outside for weeks. So this is hours.
But we are here. It's only been 9 weeks. I don't know what the chat is worried about. We just took a little break. That's all. Things going on in life. We got lives. Yeah. What do you want from us?
I know, right? And I joked that Ains looks like Gandalf when Frodo wakes up from the Shire.
It really does, though.
It really does, because like through the whole 20 minutes of that film at the end, like the whole film is like brighter and lighter, and everybody's just lit from every angle. That's what Ains looks like right now.
I never saw it, but I always saw the trailers for that movie Powder. You know that reference?
Yeah, I'll be dead next week, guys. Let's make this one count.
All right.
This man is Ashy Larry. That's what's happening.
Oh man.
Of course, we're joined by. Oh, I'm sorry. I got to introduce.
No, you haven't even introduced Joe yet. Go.
I haven't. Of course, we are also joined by the host of the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast, Mr. Joseph Moran. How are you, sir?
You know what? I'm just gonna say okay, so we can move the show forward.
Good man. There it is. That is a host right there.
That's
Gentlemen,
right.
9 weeks it's been since we've had a chance to podcast together. We always said this show would be for fun, enjoyable, and the timing just didn't line up for all the reasons, good and bad, tough stuff, great stuff, all life-related things. I know we've missed a lot, but I have missed podcasting with you boys.
Yeah,
it has been a while, man. Yeah, I missed chatting with you guys, and funny enough, all kinds of stuff has happened in the gaming world. But yeah, it's just too much going on outside of work. But outside of work, outside of this. So happy to be back.
Tired.
I am, and I've got to start with a question that I was asked to ask Joe because it caused some debate.
Okay.
So you guys know that I am I'm not a fan of trophies, achievements. Not that I despise them, but I despise what they do to some people, the way they play games.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I was told that on Trophy Room, there is a phrase that is used for when you play a game, for whatever reason, you can't get the platinum trophy. I don't know if it's time, errors, issues, what happens.
Lack of skill.
So you play another game to get an easy platinum trophy, and you call it a symbolic platinum.
Yes.
Okay, so
you're such a nerd.
This is probably, I've gone through a lot of shit in the past couple of months, guys. This is probably the dumbest thing I've heard. Like,
and the Bobert lady did what she did.
Yeah, no. This is way worse than
He
Bobert.
was reaching across the aisle. What are you talking about?
So, shout out to Wally over at Nerd Chat because we were talking about this while playing Halo one night, and I said, I think you're making this up. And he said, no. He said, ask Joe next time you guys do cast co-op. They talk about this. And I thought to myself, surely this can't be true because we're all got a lot of things going on in life, obviously, by our 9-week absence here. Yeah. You have limited time to play games. There's more amazing games and experiences than you could even play to begin with.
Right.
Why would anyone ever waste time playing some random game to get a meaningless digital picture that has no bearing on anything? I don't understand it. I need help.
Justin Moran, your thoughts?
Okay, so most of the time I do it when the trophy is glitched. So like there has been a few times where, like, for example, Callisto Protocol, rest in peace, King. The trophy was glitched. One of the collectible trophies just didn't, like, one of the collectibles didn't count. And I knew I picked it up too. And it pissed me off. I was like, well, now I did all the things to get the platinum, and I'm screwed, right? So I go over and I see like a Radalika game that takes 5 minutes of platinum, and I take 5 minutes, I platinum.
Why?
Usually 9 times out. I did all the effort. I did all the stuff to do the thing.
No, but you explained the process. You didn't explain the why.
Because he wants his trophy level to go higher.
Yeah, well, I go boop. I want the little ding. It's a dopamine.
So
hit,
being the old guy around, which I am, I have peers who say a lot of negative things about the younger generation, and I usually defend them. And I say, no, they'll be fine. Different generation, different upbringing, but we're not going to be the old guys that get old and criticize the younger generation. We're better than that, right? They're going to be just fine. I'm not sure anymore. I'm really not sure. I'm worried. I got to be honest.
For example, for Spider-Man, right? You can auto pop the trophy to get the platinum on the PS5 version on the remaster. I did that. It feels good. It feels nice.
I mean, that's just turning on the game and getting a trophy. That's different. I think that's okay.
You were seeking out the symbolic platinum, I think is what Ains is saying.
Because the thing was glitched.
And have you paid money for these cheap games to do this?
Sure. But it's not a lot of money. I'm not spending anything more than $1 to get my quick hit. And I'm not making it like my personal mission. Kyle really has a problem. He has a ton of cheap plats. He just likes to see the little bloop, bloop, bloop. That's a problem behavior. Okay? What I'm saying, what I got, is just a little issue.
It's all problem behavior. Let's be honest.
That's fair.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to spend that much time on it, but seek help.
All right,
boys.
My mic's glitching, so I'm gonna fix it. Don't worry about it. I know.
Okay. It's the same thing I was telling you about the other night, Joe. It's the same kick out. It's like a shorted wire. It sounds like. So
a shorted wire? No, I think I know what it is.
All right. Well, while he's messing around with that,
I'm a ghost, but we can't fix that, so we're gonna move on.
Yeah. I will say, I wonder just
right now.
I was in the middle of a point, but it's fine. Go ahead.
But do I sound crackly?
Give me like a steady tone. Oh,
sure. Luke's mom looks nice naked. Luke's mom looks nice naked.
You sounded fine.
All right, great.
I don't agree, but you sound fine.
I mean, she's got a lot of cellulite and a lot of calluses, and you'd be surprised where the calluses are.
How does that spot even get rubbed that much?
Friction, a lot of friction. All right, Luke, continue.
Real great to be back with y'all. Just want to note that.
8 minutes in.
So video games.
Okay, so I love that this week is our week back because there are massive leaks, there are showcases. We have a game that's returning from, or I guess you would say finally achieving its potential, which is so cool. It's getting redemption in the eyes of so many. But I will note that just because of life, I have not had a chance to play a lot of the stuff recently. Like to me, the silly season started with Immortals of Avium, which is criminally underplayed, I think. Genuinely a good game that unfortunately kind of just hit at the wrong time. And then Starfield hit, and Starfield caught me off guard because I was not expecting to love this game. That's not my kind of game, right? I'm still loving Starfield, and it's keeping me from wanting to even start Cyberpunk, which we were fortunate enough to get access to early. Logan did all that. I haven't had time, but like I don't know how I'm gonna have time to do Cyberpunk and finish Starfield and enjoy the Crew, which is amazing, and enjoy Alan Wake, which I'm so excited for, and Spider-Man, which really had me sold after the last little bit that I saw. And I try not to watch stuff. I don't know how some people are keeping up, but this is truly, and we said this 9 weeks ago, the best year in video games, bar none.
Yeah.
Immortals of Avium couldn't make a dent, and it's a great game, I think.
I feel really bad for them because if you're not aware and you're listening, right, they laid off half of their studio, which was a new studio set up with industry veterans to make this game that they've been working on for like 3.5, 4 years. And Luke and others, it wasn't the highest rated game, but I heard a lot of positive things about it. And just a shame, man. It's just, I think, what was it? Alone in the Dark basically came out and said, we're not launching in October. That makes no sense. Leave us out of it. So they pushed to January, and it's like, that was smart because they would just get buried. There's too many top grade A titles to play right now.
Had AVM launched when it was supposed to, I think they would have been fine.
You're right.
It's a testament. Like if AVM had come out in 2001, we'd be like, or 2021, 22. We would have been, there was a dry, like a rough year. We would have been like, maybe, do we think about this one?
Mhm.
And it's just a testament to the year that it's so such talent can be just so easily overlooked. And it kind of bums me out to see studios formed, created for that purpose. Because by all intents and purposes, from what I gather, this wasn't one of the situations where like you're mad at management, you're mad at people misbehaving in the office or doing bad things. It just didn't work out, and that stinks. The Mimimi Games closed. They made Desperados and Shadow Gambit and stuff.
Yep.
Their game came out, did well, and then a bummer, I think.
Yeah, a big bummer. Yeah. I mean, it is a testament to this year where a good game, legitimately good game, doesn't make a dent because it's surrounded by stellar games, right? Like, I don't think that game got a great shake. And I'm sorry, there's a whole bunch of dogs barking if you hear that over the mic. But like, there are so many great games it's surrounded by. Like, you had Baldur's Gate, you had Armored Core, you had Sea of Stars, you had Starfield all around it. And it just like, how like you're right, how do you keep up? Well, you just try to keep your head above water and just play what you're playing, because like I'm kind of with Luke, you know, I was excited for Starfield, right? I got the controller and everything, but it wasn't like my most anticipated game. And now right now, almost 50 hours in, it's my game of the year.
Same,
you know.
Same.
So it's just great. And now I'm playing Lies of P, and that ripped me away from Starfield, and I'm loving that. And then next week, Cyberpunk. So it's just now we're getting to the point where every week there's going to be hopefully a great game on the horizon. So it's just we're blessed for great games, though it seems like some folks are struggling out there.
Spoiled for choice.
If chat would tell us what y'all are playing right now, because I'm genuinely curious. There's so many options and what you're looking forward to. Like, what makes you put down X or Y? I don't want to have a Starfield conversation focus because we've got so much other stuff, but I will ask to both of you. To me, Starfield is my game of the year, which I was not expecting in any way, shape, or form. This is the most, and this isn't meant to be a diss, or the most 8 out of 10 game of the year for me I've ever had, because it's not the pieces, like the pieces of it are not perfect. They're not great, but they come together to be great, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense because, funny enough, you're arguing right along the lines with Travis. That's kind of his point. He said he would have rated this game an 8, but he has over 200 hours in it. And he just, he got access early, but he's just loving it. He did some work for it, like guides and stuff, but he just really loves it. And I know I'll speak for him here. Pampa in the chat, who, I play a lot of Halo with, we talk every day. He was expecting to play, same as you guys, expecting to play it, not expecting to just love it. And I'm pretty sure he's over 100 hours by now, like easy. So, I think that's happening to a lot of people. And I've got about 40 hours in it, and then I got pulled away with other things. But I think it's very clear, like in 40 hours, I feel like I'm barely scratching the surface. And I think the beautiful 100%. Thing about these types of Bethesda experiences, right, is that you're right. You can nitpick, you can point at things that aren't the best. They're not, they don't do cinematics as well as some games. They don't do gunplay as well as some games, all these things. But the sandbox experience you get from these games is timeless. And there's very few game companies that make games like it. And that's why Oblivion lives on. It's why Skyrim lives on. It's like Fallout lives on, because no one else is competing in that space at the level of freedom and kind of just general antics you can do in these games. And that's what makes them so fun. You kind of make the experience your own.
100%.
Yeah. Like, I'm almost 50 hours in, and I've barely touched the mainline story because I've gotten distracted by like the Crimson Fleet or the Freestar Collective, and like doing personal quests for my wife Andrasia. So like it's just a whole bunch of like, I just get like ripped away. And I kind of agree with Luke, where it's like, for me, it's like, it's the game of the year that's an 8.5, right? Like for me, like as I'm playing it, because like there are some problems with it, like the same problems I had with Cyberpunk 1.0, where it's like the skill tree doesn't feel meaningful at all. Like it feels like it's locking away like just quality of life things. It's not making me feel more badass. It's like, this is something I should have had from the start, like just putting mods on my gun. The exploration is hit or miss in terms of like landing on a planet. It just kind of feels like it's just one, flat plane with some rocks and stuff. Like I've run into the same outpost a couple of times already. To me, I forget who said this because I would love to give them credit. It's not the exploration that rips me away; it's the stories that are leading me to the exploration bits that are ripping me away from it. And that's what makes this game so great for me, is because I'm just role playing like I'm the Mandalorian. So I'm just
I'm a Jedi.
And I'm doing a job after a job, and that's how I'm going through Starfield, and that's how I'm enjoying myself. But like I've been saying, as much as I love this game, I could see where people criticize it for its exploration, because that's maybe how you wanted to experience Starfield, and it's not that. And I could see how that portion could be disappointing if that's what you're leaning in on. But Starfield's also that beautiful game where I could be 40 hours in and have a vastly different experience from you or Luke.
I referenced Ains on a recent XEP several times actually, and I was making. Yeah, no, he didn't listen. He's lazy lately.
I know.
Season gaming's not been updated in quite a while. It's a little. All right, you know what? Let's just not focus on Ains.
The Payday 3 review just went up. Calm down.
Y'all see any news stories? That's all I'm saying.
Shut up.
So I referenced Ains recently in talking about Starfield, because to make the point, Joe, that you're making, I can see where some reviewers could have a 7 out of 10 experience. I don't agree with my personal stuff, but it reminds me of Ains when he talks about Sea of Thieves. Because Joe, you and I have had so many moments in Sea of Thieves that are just so unique to that game, that happened dynamically because of the situation and what was happening and all the factors around it. And if you have none of those factors and you sail to an island and nothing happens, you kill a skelly, you walk back, sell it, and that's it. 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 5 out of 10, right? And it reminded me of how Ains talks about Sea of Thieves. That's where I see some people in Starfield. Like if the Crimson Fleet doesn't warp in at a crucial moment, or you aren't into talking in this one particular story, or something as tragic as like your mother passed away and you don't want to hear the mother storyline or something, you're not going to go take any joy out of going to eat with a random grandma on a ship. That's the thing,
Yeah.
And so that's the game.
I feel like I need to blow her up. I keep running into her.
I'm ready to attack, dude. Her and Sam Coe. I just put out a YouTube short about my hate for Sam Coe. I hope he dies. I just hope he dies. I want to murder that mother. I'll just tell you one. But that's the thing, is like the experiences are so unique.
That's why I call it a sandbox game, because like there's not. If you look at individual aspects of the gameplay, you're going to be easily pointing to other games and genres that do it better. But put all those things together in an open sandbox and just you give the tools to the player. And I remember I was talking to Cog when we were in LA, and as we were watching the presentation, the long one, the 45-minute one, we were like, you can play this game however you want to play it. And what I found is I, for instance, want to start smuggling stuff. So like I immediately kind of started grinding to get shielded cargo on my ship and be able to kind of sneak things in and out. And all I do is sneak around and steal shit. I mean, that's pretty much what I do. And I just have fun doing that. Like it doesn't even lead to anything really. But it's just fun doing.
My game. I've never done
at the end of every space battle, I'm always boarding that ship. Like I always try to save the biggest one for last, and then I dock them, and then I'm killing that whole crew. Like that is like I'm a big fan of the space combat. I think there's obviously some things that they can fix, but like for a first draft, it feels really good. It feels really good. I love the VAT system in space thing that they got going on, but like that's how I'm playing. Oh my God.
I never use it.
I'm just, again, I'm the Mando. I'm just going in. I'm just solving problems.
I like that Kevin in chat said, I'm a space cop. You better come try and find me then, Kev. You're not going to get me.
See, and Kevin is playing, at least last I heard on Project X Talk. Last I heard, he's playing with only swords and melee.
Cool. Yeah.
Gross. He's a cop with swords, man. Like I would cap that fool. Like from a distance, I'm sniping people because that's how I want to. I snipe people. Like that's what I like. Silence weapons all the time. I tried to sneak for a while, but you don't get XP that way.
No, I'm a pistol and a shotgun guy. Like I have a few like assault weapons. Like there's a weapon you get at the end of the Crimson Fleet, which is like just so much fun. It's just a bullet hose though. But like I usually have like the revolver and a shotgun, and that's how I'm playing it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty much a pistol guy most of the time too. Pistol and sniper.
That packs
I don't know that I've seen a revolver.
Oh yeah, it's there. Huh. It looks like the last word too. That's why I like it so much.
Cool.
Because the last word's one of my favorite weapons for sure.
So I said I didn't want to have a Starfield conversation, but I'm having fun.
Yeah.
OBM in chat asking about third person, or I know saying it's third playthrough, and then some person saying they're playing in third person. I bounce between third and first person. I play third person until it's time to shoot. Then I switch to first person.
I'm always first.
Always first. I try to for literally 30 seconds.
Really?
No, can't do it. It's a Bethesda game and has to be first person.
Interesting. I much like Gotham Knights, I don't even notice the 30 frames per second after like 5 minutes. Like I'm done. Like it's not it's a non-issue. It is a non-issue.
It didn't bother me at all when I started either. I will say, obviously, now playing on my super rig here is ridiculous and it's super smooth. But like when I was playing on Xbox, it didn't bother me at all.
Yeah. And on Series S works just fine. Which really just means the Baldur's Gate devs are lazy.
That's really what it goes down to, right?
I'm bringing that joke back. We're 9 weeks out, boys. I had to get it in. If you guys could just track that back a month, that's when that was funny. Okay.
Fair.
There we go.
But
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I got started on Starfield, and then got about 40 hours in, and then got the Crew Motorfest, which I'll quickly mention because that game deserves, I think, more attention. It seems to be doing extremely well according to Ubisoft, but
yes,
I love
but it is really, really good. Like if you're one of those people, like even I was at the very start and the demo or the beta when I played it, that was just blowing it off as a Forza Horizon clone, which it is in some ways, and I write about that in my review. But once you get past the initial few hours and you start to get into the meat of it, you start to see where it separates itself from Forza, and it kind of really creates this unique experience that was a ton of fun. Played the hell out of that 2 weeks ago. Put my review up. I gave it an 8.5 and said, you really, if you like Forza or you like the open world racer, you owe it to yourself to check that game out for sure.
Yeah, I have a decent amount of time in that. And like on the trophy room, I say it is like for me, we have Forza at home, kids, and that's not a bad thing. Like if you're a PlayStation player and you're looking for a game that is close to a Horizon experience, this is what you're going to get here, and it's competent in what it does. Like there are a few things missing, it feels like, but like overall, it's a really great game. I'm really happy to see the success from the Crew. Really,
agreed. I don't have, I think, as much time, but like we were playing it. We got it. I think Logan's got more time in it, but I'm so excited for it, and I say this with full sincerity. I want PlayStation gamers to play this game. Because the Forza Horizon formula is extremely fun.
Yeah,
it's a blast. Now the YouTubers I could do without. Like I skip all that, but like I really enjoy the formula, and it's so smooth to play. And I don't want to pretend like I can review the game. I've not put enough time to truly do that, but I can tell you, first impressions are just it's joyful. Playing Forza Horizon is joyful. You're rewarded for whatever you do. I hate drifting, so I never drift. I'm still advancing.
I'm not a drifter either.
Yeah.
But when it really opens up, it's like the island that they recreated of Wahoo's really good. Like they did a fantastic job of that. And you get to the point where in real time, and you remember on Twitter last week, that clip was going around showing the Spider-Man loading and then the Forza Horizon loading.
Yes.
You remember that? The Crew beats them both. And I wanted to post it. Like you can literally, when you switch instantly between vehicles, so you just drive, right? And you click the thumbstick and say, I want to switch to the plane, and your car just goes whoop and turns into the plane and you take off. And then you can turn into your boat and everything. But if you fast travel, like say you're in your car and you say, I want to go to this hub and fast travel, it doesn't even, there's no even intermediary screen. your car just instantly appears in the other location. It's literally instant.
It is.
It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
And
I like how some of like the obstacles you see in the real world, it's like there's like a ramp and then there's like a unrealistic like ring to like jump through, and I'm just looking at that going, ooh, and I'm the plane. Like the idea is like to just ramp off when I'm in my car, then just turn into the plane like I'm Optimus Prime and get that like ring. It's like that's a really nice feeling. Yeah,
it's fun as shit.
That game's so much fun, dude.
It's really good.
Don't sleep on it. If you're sleeping on it right now, Ubisoft games go on sale quickly, and they're gonna go on sale as these other games hit.
For sure.
Get the Crew Motorfest. It's great. There's a lot to recommend. Like I would say, don't skip Avium as well. I think it's a fun shooter. Crew Motorfest is great. I was playing the TMNT DLC. That's legitimately great. I talked to Elu about that. Whatnot, because I got to talk to the devs again, which was a blast. But like I love TMNT. The DLC is great, right? Like I don't have time and I'm having so much fun, but there's so much to recommend to people not to miss already. And that's the most fun part. Like this is the best.
P, baby.
So tell me, okay, so are you liking
I haven't even been able to start it yet.
Guys, I'm really but it's not like what I said on the trophy room I think speaks to how I feel, which is this is the first game that I've played that's a Soulsborne game, that's not a From Software game or not even a Team Ninja game, that feels unique enough that it's doing something different with the genre. Like to me, I do feel like this is someone that really loved Bloodborne and they loved Sekiro and they wanted to build upon those games. So it was kind of like, hey, how do we build a system that acts like Bloodborne, or like what was like a system like the regenerative health? It's like, how can we build around that aspect but do it better, not differently just to be different, but like what's improvements that we can have here? The weapon building, it's I already see it, the glimpse of it, of just going, whoa, there is probably easily 100+ weapon variants you can make in this game, let alone like the arm ability that you have. Currently my favorite one's like the hook shot. It's the first one that you get, and it's great to pull mobs away from people. But it's doing something different. And I love that while it's inspired by Bloodborne, it has its own DNA. And yeah, for the Sekiro elements, a lot of the game is about making that perfect parry, which took me a very long time to learn.
Sekiro is rough, man.
Yeah. So I'm really loving it, and I feel like I'm burning through it because again, I'm 4 bosses down now, and I got this game like a day ago. So that's all I've been playing, like to prepare for my impressions on the trophy room. I easily put 10 hours into it.
Okay.
So it's
I've heard Travis told me, because Travis reviewed it. I'm pretty sure he said you can beat it in about 20 hours is the game length.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's the right amount of time to play a game right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw Wes over at Game Informer said he put like 40 because it's got supposedly like multiple endings with like different features and stuff. So yeah,
it's a really special game. So I really want to Round 8 and NeoWiz, I believe, are the developers / publisher to this. Congratulations, y'all, because this is a game, and they also play with the mechanic of the old lore that is Pinocchio in a really interesting way. So yeah. It's a fun time. It really is.
I think that's really cool about I love that they took that classic story, because I think Pinocchio obviously is most famous for the Disney Pinocchio, but the actual story of Pinocchio has a much darker kind of meaning to it. And I think that playing on that theme in coordination with the other elements you mentioned is really cool. Good idea.
And I feel like, and I know this is going to be very weird, I know that they're going for like the Bloodborne aesthetic, but to me, when I look at the game and like the enemies that I'm fighting, I actually get more of a BioShock vibe. of how like twisted everything has become, at least aesthetically. That's what I'm getting. So I'm really digging the game. I'm going to beat it before I have to get into Cyberpunk. I don't know about the platinum, but I'll definitely.
Well, you can always get a whatever the stupid fucking
symbolic.
Name is.
There's symbolism to it.
What was I going to say? I've had it installed since before launch. I pre-installed it and I still haven't touched it because I've just been tied up with reviews. So I'm super excited to get into it soon. I don't know when, but soon.
Too many games.
So you know what I got to talk about now, right?
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I
had a question, but are you ready to transition?
Go.
Okay, so my question is for Joe. Now that you have all these alternatives, and I'm not being flippant, is Bloodborne that great now that you've had Elden Ring, Lies of P? I feel like it's been done better in so many places based on what you say.
You really sound stupid when you talk. And
okay,
I think you need to stop.
So is that your nostalgia?
Luke, yes. You do sound stupid, but you also didn't say symbolic platinum, so I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. Calm it the F down, symbolic platinum. Please.
I feel like I sound perfectly sane when I say it.
It's been done. The way you talk, it's been done better. Nobody's done Arkham Knight for me better. That's my favorite game, right?
Yeah.
Has it been done better for you?
No. Bloodborne, even at its 30 FPS, I will take Bloodborne any day of the week.
Over Lies of P, you mean?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But I understand where you're getting at because the genre has evolved so much since Bloodborne. Where like I could go to Bloodborne now and go, this is easy as all hell. And I could beat Father Gascoigne on the first try. I could get to the fourth boss in under an hour. Like that's how memorized I have it. But at the same exact time, I feel like there's a lot you can do with a sequel. And I think some quality of life, changes, whether in a remaster or a remake, 60 FPS would do that game justice. So, I don't think there's anybody that's done it better. I just like how Lies of P is doing it, but doing it differently. They're forging their own path, but they're taking inspirations, from previous games.
I haven't played Lies of P like I just said, but no, I would agree with you that Bloodborne, I think Elden Ring's a better game than Bloodborne. But if you're looking at Bloodborne for what it is, more of an action-focused Souls game with that Gothic style and just beautifully memorable environments, no one's touched it yet. No, it's still. I'm with Joe. I'm not as high on the meter as Joe is. I don't think anyone is, but I'm still just dying for the announcement of a remaster or Bloodborne 2. Bloodborne 2 on PS5, like in the vein of the remake for Demon's Souls with that type of feel. Yeah, that's a take off of work for a week type of game right there.
Yeah, you guys will have to check on me if I probably will die. You will see me cry at that announcement.
It's fine, Joe. Like, at your funeral, I'll post up a picture of my symbolic platinum for you. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Hey,
you're welcome.
Before we talk about you dying, it's been 9 weeks, Joe, and I'm just make this personal. It's been 9 weeks, Ains, since we chatted. Joe's been doing some life transformation, and I want to shout out your progress. I'm dead ass serious.
Thanks, buddy.
Tell people.
I lost 38 pounds. Everybody clap.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
No one's clapping.
Yeah.
All right.
He's been crushing it.
We talked about it a few weeks ago, but I hadn't had an update. 38 pounds is a lot, dude. Nice job.
Yeah. The last 2 weeks I haven't been able to do much because I got plantar fasciitis. I can't pronounce the word.
On your feet.
On my foot.
Fasciitis.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I had to get new insoles. Humble brag, I got a manicure today and they rubbed my feet. It was very nice. I took a nice little knee day.
Yep.
So I'm ready to get back out there and share my progress because I love seeing people cheer me on and seeing like people like going, hey, you've inspired me to do to make some much needed changes. So I love to see that. So I can't wait to get back out there now, knowing that I got better shoes and better ways of tackling it. I also got my gym membership as well.
Nice.
So and me and the lady friend, We're already
it's
starting
been
to
9
plan
weeks.
out.
Ains.
Yeah, Luke's mom's getting jealous.
Shut
I heard
up.
about it. I heard about it.
Stop it.
He was telling me before the show. I got some details. I said those are going to be pretty kids that have to run from the cops, but well,
me and Desert Rose,
He's had some well-earned wins. Let's put it that way. Some real well-earned wins.
But so like we're planning our like attack for like the gym and stuff. So I'm excited, man. I'm feeling good.
Stuff, man.
My knees don't hurt as much. Now I just got to lose 50 more and I'm going to feel real good about myself,
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing though, like with that type of progression is once you start to recognize, you get over that initial hump and you start to recognize and feel the actual difference in just your day-to-day with energy, with movement, with sex, with, the things you do.
Oh, trust me, Luke's mom, she has noticed.
You have a girlfriend now.
Where do you think the calluses came from, Luke? I mean,
come on.
All right, I'll take us back in a normal direction.
I have a separation in my mustache out of genetics? No, it's out of friction. Sorry.
It's rubbed off.
Right. I'm trying. Oh, it rubbed off. All right. Anyway, the game I have to talk about. So I went from Starfield, I reviewed the Crew, and now I'm reviewing, my formal review will be out tomorrow of Phantom Liberty for Cyberpunk. Boys, it's possible Cyberpunk's going to be my game of the year.
Yeah.
Can it be?
I don't care.
Got it. Okay, got you. That's fine. I like that. I like that logic.
Yeah.
But can I ask you questions or do you want to?
Of course.
Okay. So
I mean, I'll let me talk about it briefly. So obviously everyone knows that the 2.0 update came out today. Phantom Liberty's on Tuesday, I think, officially. They did this, they did similar kind of like they did with Witcher, right? They had these big broad updates and then Blood and Wine kind of expanded the overall game. Phantom Liberty, and many of us who have played the hell out of Witcher 3 and all the expansions multiple times, right? You'll hear many people say Blood and Wine is the best video game expansion ever made. It's definitely in that top 5 if it, it should be. This is Cyberpunk's Blood and Wine. It is that good. Like the story and the cinematics and the narrative that go with Idris Elba's character, Solomon Reed, and that whole kind of spy aspect and what you get into it. Jesus. All right. It's lightning really bad. So if I suddenly disappear, you'll know what happened.
Okay.
It's fantastic. It's just the lightning, guys. It's constant. And then like, not only does it, similar to Blood and Wine, not only does it give you this fantastic story and new characters, and it's like extensive too. I already have 17, 18 hours into it since in the past 5 days or something. But it then gives you a whole new region of Night City, right? Which is kind of unique, has its own personality, has its own fixer, has its own side things you can do. And then lays on top of that the 2.0 update, which, kind of changes the core game and makes a lot of things different. It is just spectacular. It is absolutely fantastic. It is amazing to see. I already had a lot of love for this game. I know we've talked about it a lot on the show, and I already thought it was an excellent game at its core. This is definitely taking it to that. What I put in my review is timeless. This is a masterpiece now. It's up there with the best of the best.
Nice. Oh my God. That gets me so excited.
It's so good.
As I fell in love with the game, a year ago when it got really good. You
mean when you actually played it and learned what I said about the characters?
And it didn't crash all the time on me. Yeah. No, I got past the prologue, where the game wouldn't, just die every time I met Johnny Silverhand. Anyway.
Joe, can I ask him something before you make your point? Because I think it is relevant.
Please.
Ains, does this make you look back on the launch version differently now that you've played 2.0 and Phantom Liberty?
No, in fact, I was kind of getting annoyed. You know me well enough with this stuff. I was kind of getting annoyed at all the chatter, and I put this in my review of now it's a good game. No, like the core experience of this game, the vast majority of the game that you will play on Tuesday or whoever you play it next was already there. You were already playing it. The revisions are awesome. The skill tree revisions and the cyberware revisions, in particular, I really enjoy. I think it allows for more kind of better character building for yourself from an RPG perspective. And some of the quality of life stuff is great, of course. But let's be honest, that's not the fundamental game, right? The fundamental game was already there and it's been there. Mm-hmm. And so I guess the short answer is no. I still think it was an excellent game at launch. I stand by everything I've said about it over the past couple of years in my initial review. But no doubt that, I mean, this should be obvious. 3 years of updates and expansion and everything else. It's a better game now, no doubt.
Yeah. And I think like when we talk about like the redemption story of this game, I think Ains, you are right to a degree, where it's like this game has been great for a really long time. Like I would argue not at launch because I couldn't play it past the prologue, but like after its patches, I would say like for over a year and a half now, this has been a solid game. You know, they've done their time, they've paid their dues, and it's been a solid game. It's been a great game. And now to see its redemption, I like it. I like to see it. I love to see it. But the thing that I don't like to see is, you're right, Ains. It's like, oh, finally, it's great. It's like, no, I would try to rephrase that of like, now this is the time to truly jump in. Right? If you're hesitant.
Yeah, if you have, I mean, obviously, yeah, if you haven't played it, obviously now's the time. But I mean, like, I think people forget, and I debated talking about this in my review, but people forget that Witcher kind of took the same arc, right? And Witcher 3 is widely considered one of the greatest games, if not the greatest games of all time. Had the same arc. It had all kinds of issues at launch. They completely redesigned the UI in that game. Like, it took a while to get it to where it is now. But I would say it's a testament to CD Projekt Red. Now, I'm not forgiving the Xbox One and PS4 launches, everything we've talked about a million times.
Those consoles, yeah.
But it is a testament because they made profit on day one. They talked about that, right? They made their money. They could have washed their hands of it and said, "Oh well, we'll do some basic patches and then we're done with it." They didn't. They've spent the last 3 years refining it and refining it and refining and building what I think is one of the best expansions, if not the best expansion to a game I've ever played. With Idris Elba. I mean, Idris Elba is a grade A Hollywood star, and he's fantastic.
And he's not like phoning it in, going,
no, he is a huge part of the expansion, and his voice acting. It's not as good as Megan Fox in Mortal Kombat, but it's
oh man, what a disappointment.
But his it's fantastic, and like. Yeah, I could ramble on and on, but I'm very excited for people to jump in next week when it goes live officially. If you're on the fence about it, don't jump over that fence and run and get ready to really enjoy it. It is fantastic. Real quick, Rob Frawley, what's up, dude? He said, are you playing on PC? Yes, I'm playing at max everything with full path tracing. So literally the top you can play it at. It is mind-boggling. A game shouldn't look that good. It doesn't make any sense. You can see the pictures I put on Twitter, but you have to remember Twitter compression is horrible. So like they look good on Twitter, but just
while we were away, they changed the name. It's X.
They should just call it shitter. Like it's shittier. That's what it is.
Algorithm, but worry me.
But it's it's incredible, absolutely incredible. So yeah, I'm very excited for more people to check it out. We will have my formal review going up tomorrow, both video and written. So
yeah, I we're already having talks about our game of the year conversation with Kyle and I. This is pre-COVID, so like he's going through it right now. But we're debating like should Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty be in talks for like best RPG of the year? Like, should it be in that category? Because it is a DLC. But I definitely feel like for me, if it's expansive enough, it should.
How big is it?
Yeah,
that's the question to ask: is how big is it?
Yeah, and I'll find out in a week. I can't wait, man. I really can't.
Ains, should I be?
Hey, sorry guys. What you said? How big it is? I was responding to a comment. You said, "How big is it? How big is what?"
Well, the expansion would determine like, should it win RPG? Should it win this? I think it determines.
Oh, it's big, man.
Different than the expansion.
It is.
They should be linked, not pay linked, but like mentally linked.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny because I see a lot of reviews out there that are kind of they say Phantom Liberty review, but they're kind of reviewing 2.0. And so in my review is of Phantom Liberty, and then what I comment on is how 2.0 layers on top of that. So I'm separating kind of that in my review.
One last question: Have you Are you playing like a brand new playthrough of the game, or are you starting from your latest save and working in?
It's a good question. So one, I would highly recommend if you're playing on more than one platform, log into GOG.com and get your cloud saves enabled, because they have full cross saving now. Nice. So I had a game on PC I had started months back earlier this year when I got the new PC. So I had about 6 hours in and I was still in the prologue. So I finished the prologue, did a few more missions, but I still couldn't start Phantom Liberty. So Phantom Liberty, what they're doing is you can either use a save that you have from late in the game previously, or if you buy the expansion, you can use a preloaded save they're going to give you to just jump right into the expansion if you want to do it that way.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. But as a reviewer, you didn't get that. So what I did was I tried to play for a few hours with my 5-hour save, beat the prologue, and then started. I couldn't. So then what I did was I pulled over my 130 plus hour save off of Xbox, put it in the cloud, launched it on PC, and started Phantom Liberty that way. So the short answer is I'm using my kind of main game save to play.
Okay, cool. Because I know they add a new ending to the game if you beat that. So
and you can't talk about it.
I can't talk about it.
Yeah, new end. I can't. Well, I mean, I can, but I'm not going to. No spoilers, obviously, in my review. But
I just hope Idris enters inside me. I mean, what?
My understanding is Idris is not in there to the extent that Keanu was, but it's certainly not phoned in.
Okay.
Well, it's kind of weird because Keanu, obviously, Johnny continues, right? He's still in it, and there's new parts of him in it, right? He's still with you along the way. But like Solomon or Idris character he's part of the core narrative of the main story of the expansion. But you're with him and talking to him a lot, like a lot.
Okay.
You literally do missions with him, and oh man, it's so good. It's so good.
I'm excited. I'm really excited, man. I just hope I could beat it before Mirage.
So I'd like to ask that question. I don't want to put down Starfield yet. I'm not ready. I'm enjoying this in a way that I wasn't expecting. I want to play Spider-Man and Alan Wake. I want to play Sonic Superstars. I'm enjoying my TMNT DLC and a few other small and the Crew. Can I wait on Phantom Liberty?
What a dumb question. I mean, I get it. I'm the symbolic trophy guy. What a truly dumb question.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can. It depends how much you are into. I love Cyberpunk. Like, it's one of my favorite games. So like getting back into that in this new revised 2.0 and then getting this new story that is so good has been amazing to me. But if you're not as big of a fan, then sure, wait. I mean, you may be a dum-dum. I don't know. But
like in Spider-Man, there's something that's going to get spoiled quickly if I don't play it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's
I mean, it is narrative heavy in this expansion for the main story. So I hope not, obviously, but I don't know. I will tell you this, and I don't mean to say this as any sort of dig or anything else, but since getting back into Cyberpunk, I haven't missed Starfield even for a second.
Wow.
Not even for a second.
That's telling. See, that is very telling.
Yeah. The gunplay, like I was arguing with Travis on Bitcast saying the gunplay in Starfield is pretty good, and I was enjoying it. Now that I'm playing Cyberpunk, I'm like, Cyberpunk's so much better. It's night and day. Night and day more fun to play.
I mean, even playing Starfield, I was just like, wow, this is a lot more competent of gunplay, but like I still prefer the combat in Cyberpunk.
I agree.
And now like you can build out more, and I'm double jumping and dashing across the sky and shooting in slow. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's so good.
What's the learning curve like for someone who doesn't want to read everything? That's me. Like I don't want. Like I'm tired a lot right now. Just because this window of time is, I don't want to read 1,000 things. What's the learning curve? Like, can I jump in and be back in Cyberpunk within like an hour?
Yes. Yeah, so one of the things I read in my review is it does a really good job. If you start Phantom Liberty, right? So take your current save, start Phantom Liberty. It does a really good job of it's immediate. It's like bang, something happens, which the cinematic trailer that they released a few days ago is kind of leading into. Something happens, you get contacted in the game, and before you know it, you're in. And the first 2 to 4 hours, maybe depending how fast you play, I guess, are pure linear narrative gameplay. So it invests you into that story immediately before trying to open up into the new open world section and saying, okay, now you can go at your pace. It invests you into it right out of the start, which I think was a really good decision.
Can I ask Luke a question that he can't answer? Because for folks that don't know, Luke's an English teacher. So when he's just like, can I not read? Like, I get it. I truly do. But Luke, do you as a teacher sometimes pick the dyslexic kid on purpose?
You said pick the dicks. I was like, what? Where are we going with this?
Do you pick kids like me in the class who can't speak good nor read great?
So the answer, I'll gladly answer that actually. 100% yes. The goal before doing that is to build a safe space for them to feel comfortable messing up so that we can get them to have those moments, because you often get frustrated with your own dyslexia when you read show notes and stuff. Had you had a teacher that taught you to work through those without getting frustrated, I think you'd have been better off. So the serious answer to your joke question is absolutely. But the reality is you have to build a place in which they're willing to struggle and not be embarrassed and shut down. Do I target them to embarrass them? No. But do I call on them to force them into learning the moment? 100% yes.
I wasn't expecting a real answer.
Yeah.
I'm a little upset.
Also, your mom's up. Your mom's up.
Thank you.
Does that bring it back to reality?
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
All right. So we talked about Cyberpunk. We talked about. Are we gonna see Mrs. Lore? Look at they look like the same
Lore.
person.
She's in her jammy jams.
Damn, I haven't seen her in like a week. What's up?
She's been quite sick actually.
Sorry.
Yeah, she's been quite sick. Oh, good, a cough for effect. Thank you. Yeah, she's been. sounds like she's doing great.
That's right. Well, it's great to see Mr. Lore in the back, I guess. But y'all, we talked about all these games. Can we talk about these leaks? Because Xbox wants to buy Nintendo, and they're real serious about it. What are we gonna do?
You want to start, Ains, or you want me to start?
No, go ahead.
What are we gonna do?
So this was the first, I hate the phrase emergency Xbox expansion pass we've ever done. Like, it's video games, calm down. But we did do a special episode for this because it was truly, without exaggeration, the biggest biggest leak in Xbox history. Yeah. A self-inflicted wound by Microsoft. One of several they've had in this generation, a generation that started strong and has had so many wins. It's pretty damning, I think. I downloaded the PDF because what it is, for anybody that's unfamiliar, it's a hardware deck printed and uploaded from as recent as May of 2022. So it's very recent. Right. Very, like, this is post-COVID, post-production problems, understanding the realities of the next 8 to 10 years, what their plan was at the time. And it was really interesting and telling. I found it very fascinating. I actually very much enjoyed the transparency that was accidentally created. And it made me more excited for the Xbox brand in a way that I wasn't expecting to be because, usually when you see business insight, you're like, oh, this is going to either bore me to death or I'm going to be like, these people are robbing us. I was actually not feeling that at all. My most appreciated moment of all of this, and then I'll let you guys jump in, was the handling by Phil Spencer, who is too often evangelized by the Xbox community as the savior of video games, when in reality, he seems to me to be a very good dude working hard at his job to do right. And also running $1 trillion or part of $1 trillion company. Yeah. It's got a job to do, right? But the we mentality, this was something Hoglaw pointed out and that I saw him point out and I echoed. there was very much we're not pointing fingers. We need to fix things. We need to do this together. We dropped the ball here. We're doing this well. And when the leaks happened, it was, hey, this is never how we want plans to be shared. This isn't what we want to see happen. This isn't how our teams deserve to be spotlighted. Some things have changed. We hope to show you those things when we're ready. I liked a lot of this, despite the frustration I'm sure the team felt. And I felt like they handled the release of it quite well. And it made me more excited for Xbox. Is that strange?
No. I think so. A couple things I'll say on that. I agree. Hogue nailed it. With that's what a real leader does. You come out, you get in front of it, you take responsibility for it, and you make it about your leadership, and you support the team. Sounds really simple. Not many leaders are very good at that. So Phil has always had a good way with words, typically. Obviously, when you communicate outwards as much as he does, there's some things that, people will call him on from time to time. But generally speaking, from a leadership communication standpoint, Phil's really, really good because he comes off as sincere and down to earth and speaking to the people that he's targeting, while at the same time protecting a multi-billion-dollar or trillion-dollar organization's interests. That is not easy to do. I do it at a much, I keep saying much, lower level than Phil does. And I can promise you I have peers who aren't good at it. The other thing I will say is it became immediately clear, not that this will surprise anyone, it became immediately clear that a lot of people who talk about games in our space don't have any corporate experience whatsoever. They don't understand the most basic of things with how things are discussed or collaborated on or talked about with executive leadership. And that's okay, but don't talk like you do, because it's wildly apparent that you don't to people who know. And the emails that were kind of pulled up and people were talking about, those didn't surprise me at all. People were acting shocked and crazed, and you saw all these things. Stupid. Didn't surprise me even a little bit. And I don't say that to necessarily say I kind of have all the answers or know what Phil was aiming at. But when you're in a position like his, you're talking about a guy who just got approval to spend $70 billion on an acquisition. That's larger than most companies in the world in terms of money, right? He has responsibilities at a far grander scale from a visionary perspective than you can imagine. And for him to say things like, yeah, we should look at purchasing Nintendo, sounds outlandish to us as gamers. It's not outlandish. No. It's just not. Right. It's something to discuss. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. It doesn't mean he has any ill will towards Nintendo or want to conquer them or anything like that. It just means that he recognizes Nintendo as an absolute key player in the industry. And if they could take some of that pedigree and capitalize on it, then they should. And anyone who's intelligent at all in his position would be smart to do the same. It's really that simple. And I think you saw, I didn't talk about this hardly at all on Twitter. I didn't engage with it, mostly because I'm ridiculously busy right now and I haven't done much of anything. But the other reason is some of the narratives and the people running with this stuff just to get hits and stuff out, they just have no idea what they're talking about. And it's maddening to just read. You read a bit of it and I'm just like, oh God, these people. And I just turn it off because I can't handle it. They just don't get the perspective.
Yeah, like with the Microsoft considered buying Nintendo thing. It's like, no, this is like a guy, and I joked about it on the trophy room. This is a guy from Microsoft asking Phil, like he got a bright idea one day because he heard some guy in the office got Nintendo stock, and he's just like, hey Phil, what could we like one day, like, could we buy Nintendo, you think? Like, you think that's a good play? And like the whole thing reads is like Phil Spencer's kind of like going like explaining what Nintendo is, like how you would like to your parent, and letting them down easily. It's like, guys, he's not serious. He's talking this guy he's telling the reasons as to why it would be very difficult for him to do that. It's pretty much going, no, you dumb idiot, but in the nicest way possible, right?
And he even says at the end, thanks for indulging me. Like he even says at the end of the email, like, thanks for indulging me to Amy Hood, who's the CFO of Microsoft, and Satya, who's obviously the CEO. I mean, those are literally the two people who run Microsoft, who are, he works for.
Yeah. So. And it's like, it's wishful thinking. Anybody who's anybody who probably be like, what if I ran Nintendo? What if I, ran Microsoft and I could buy A, B, and C? It doesn't mean it's actually happening or the talks are serious. It's ridiculous. And I love, to me, the coolest things from the leaks are the insight to how these folks are operating and the conversations, how candid they are, so like, to me, I'm getting all the information that I kind of want to see how these companies kind of just move and operate. So like, to me, when people are like, at Microsoft considered buying Nintendo, I'm like, I bet a lot of people have considered buying Nintendo. I've considered buying Nintendo and fixing some things around, like goddamn actually making that Metroid game, right? It doesn't mean it's happening. It kind of, to me, it outlines a couple of things. It outlines how still how young we are in terms of like reporting and covering these aspects of gaming, right? Like, I don't know the word that's coming off the top of my head, but like, we're still so naive. Even the biggest folks in the industry that
naive is the perfect word.
Yeah.
And ignorant with its proper usage.
Yeah. And I think the ones that are probably the best at navigating it are the ones that are saying the least about it. To me, I'm looking at this and going, this is really interesting. I would like to learn more. And I'm not reading between the lines going, oh, this means next week Microsoft's going to announce they've had another major act. No, that's not this at all. It's just cool. We're going to get a Fallout 3 remaster. Why can't we be happy about that?
I want Xbox. I was gonna say, Big Daddy Phil, just buy Nintendo, leave everything else alone, but their online system. Can we do that?
Yeah.
Just do something better, please.
Yeah. Also, I do like the idea of a all digital Xbox Series X.
So
that's
did
That's a console I would have bought. Like, if it was like $100 cheaper, whatever, I would have bought that, because I don't think I ever put a disc in my Series X.
I don't know. I wouldn't buy it, but I think there's a market for it for sure.
I like it a lot. I was a little surprised to see that in the hardware deck from May 2022, recent but not so recent.
Yeah.
I love the design of it, at least based in the pictures that you would expect good marketing design.
Uh-oh, he's got it. He's got the Rona.
I do. I feel like I have to cough. But what I appreciated was its visual design, but I was a little worried because it had the same price as the Series X for no disc functionality. That said, better Wi-Fi, better Bluetooth and stuff. And it reminded me of the 360 Elite, but then from the Elite, they went to the 360S Slim, maybe they called it. Which had better Wi-Fi. It was faster, slimmer. It kind of just reminded me of that, but the same core principle of being a Series X. And I thought that was telling, because it does echo Spencer's thoughts on, like, we don't need a mid-gen refresh. And I freaking agree with him. Yeah. Avium and Jedi Survivor are the two games I've seen push this system visually.
I mean, it's obvious they don't need it when, like, I think one of the coolest bits of like info that we got was 75% of Europeans have a Series S and not an X. So it's like, yeah, why do we like spend millions on R&D when it is the budget console that is the thing selling the most? And it goes to show, like, again, like the insight, it really just goes to show, like, as much as we love the 60 FPS, most players don't care. As much as we love the true 4K, most players don't care.
As we always say, Twitter's not a real place. Yeah. The gaming conversations that happen there are not relevant to the mass market. Real quick, let me address something in the chat right now, because someone's annoying me. So, for Shaman, you're talking about they went and pitched to talk about buying Nintendo. So how about talking about that, whether that would be good for the industry rather than whether people are clickbaiting around it? One, no one can really talk about whether that would be good for the industry because we don't know the outcome of a magical scenario. Two, people are clickbaiting around it. So, I mean, that's just literally, that's a fact. But the more important thing to understand in these scenarios is you say they literally went and sat down and pitched it to them in the past. What you need to understand is at that level, when you make a pitch, the pitch is the thing that begins the conversation with the people needed to understand what that would encompass. A pitch is not to say, we think this is a good idea, we're going to buy them. The pitch is to generate the conversation, to examine the facts around all of the details that would encompass buying something like Nintendo, very Japanese company, historic, all the nuances and complexities that would come with that. So when people say they pitched to buy it, clearly they were going to do it, and Phil was going to take over Nintendo. That's not what a pitch means in this landscape. And again, it's showing the naivety around how this level of corporate conversations take place. That's the problem.
And I'll double down on the idea that we don't know what's good and bad for the industry. That is not something you get to know. Some things happen.
You can't predict that.
Right. Who would have predicted in the PS3 generation that the PS4 would have done as well as it did? Who would have predicted that Xbox 360 would tank so much of its success? Who would have predicted that the Xbox One would botch it so bad and then find a way to recover their hardware team, develop into programs with games with gold that eventually morphed into Xbox Game Pass? We were told that putting PlayStation games on PC was the most damning and destructive thing ever. Oh, what's that? It's generated more interest in PlayStation as a brand overall. Xbox has developed things like cross save, smart delivery. Sony's done a good job with that. What you think you know for the industry is so minimalistic. Like, you don't know. You wouldn't be in the YouTube comments. You wouldn't be on this show.
Right.
You don't know.
I'd be on a board. I mean, that's why I'm shutting the hell up. I don't know. Like, I'm gonna take Ains' word because he sat through those meetings, right? Like, every time I talk about Ains, I go, he talks to robots all day. I know what the hell he does. Every time, like, he talks to robots, he's like, all this type of stuff. Like, so to me, I sit back and I go, yeah, like, if anybody's gonna have an idea, it's Ains, because he's always talking to those C-level folks. So, like,
this is part of what I do. Like, yeah. And it's like when the acquisition stuff came up and everyone's starting to talk about the legal aspects of it. And people ask me, it's like, I don't know. I don't know. This is not what I do. Ask Hogue. Hogue's your man. Like, he's the one who can intelligently speak to this. The people running that just literally have either written about games or run websites for their entire career talking about a acquisition strategy of someone like Phil Spencer, they don't know what they're talking about. Period. It's that simple.
And that's why, like, I think it's very, you're right for this conversation. Like, if it's over my head, I'm not gonna talk about it. I think what you said is kind of perfect. It's like we're talking about an outcome of a magical scenario that hasn't happened, nor will it happen. And so, like, to me, it's just like it is what it's not happening. Like, they also pitched to WB, that obviously didn't happen. So, like, to me, it's more interesting to see, talks between, again, these high executives of how they're just feeling in the moment and how kind of like real each one of them sound, right? It's not as tailored as we all think it is, though at the same time it is. Like, it's really interesting. So to me, it's like, if PlayStation had the opportunity to do the same thing, they would. No doubt.
Absolutely.
In my mind.
That's the exact point. They would have the discussion about what it would mean for them, the industry, the company, etc. Of course, you're having that discussion, right? Yeah. That doesn't mean that they had this plan that we secretly found out that they were going to buy Nintendo. No. Have they talked about it and what it could possibly mean? I'm sure they have. I'm sure they've talked about buying PlayStation. Yeah. I guarantee you that conversation has come up somewhere. because they can afford to do it. Does it mean they're going to do it? No.
And rest assured, Amazon, Epic, Apple, the people that have the funding have all done these conversations.
We've all been like hypothesizing about like what Apple's console would be, and we all find out like how's Apple going to enter this industry, and we all found out it's through the phone, right? So it's like, and for what we've seen at first impressions was, it's extremely competent. So it's like, you know, again, we can all sit in our chairs and we can all have these fun conversations, but what I always try to stress to my audience, and I'll stress to this audience, is we're all having fun. I'm not a legal expert. I'm just a dude sitting in a chair having a conversation with another dude sitting in a chair, and we're just having fun talking about the what ifs, you know, this or that. I'm not coming at it through an authority, because at the end of the day, I'm just a dude outside this industry looking in enthusiastically.
And we've talked about that a lot here, right? Like that's the key. You have to make that distinction of, we're talking about this like, if this were to happen in some wild scenario, what would that mean for us, or what could that mean for the games, or what have you? But I think, to your point, Joe, when people try to talk about it like, this email proves Phil Spencer's trying to acquire Nintendo, and it's like, you just don't know what you're talking about. Just please stop.
Enjoy the ride. Like, enjoy the ride. Play the games. We spent what, 40 minutes at the top of the show talking about just how much fun we're having and how
different
we're like
games,
in different games, and what we want to play, what we're gonna have time to play. Enjoy the ride. Like,
I'm a PlayStation guy. My favorite game this year is a Microsoft game.
I'm an Xbox guy.
You're not getting Elder Scrolls either. Ha!
God, no!
I'm the Xbox guy. Behind
I'll get a symbolic trophy for it.
You can see Mjolnir behind me. You can see Kratos behind me, because I love those games. My most anticipated game is at this point Spider-Man. To ask me tomorrow, maybe it's Alan Wake, maybe it's Avatar, but like, I'm gonna play Spider-Man. Why? Because it's friggin' fun. I loved Miles Morales. I love Spider-Man on PS4 and 5. Like, it's like, enjoy the ride.
That said, I do want to talk about the thing that excited me the most out of all this.
The Nintendo Direct. Woo! Peach is a sword fighter.
No. Real talk. The fancy new controller from
from
Xbox.
Me too, dude. The corporate speak, I do that shit every day. That board's me to tears. Cussing. Like, that's what I do. The controller, man. I read the features of the controller, and I'm like, let's go. That sounds amazing,
right? It's like, all the features that I love in my DualSense in the Xbox controller. All right, and it's wearing little cute little Crocs. Okay,
this
let's not call them Crocs. I like pants. I like pants.
This is why competition's good, because you're getting them merging, guys. I'm not the big on like I love my Elites. I'm not stressing, and I think the DualSense is fine. Tell me what I'm missing. Tell me what I'm missing for real.
Missing about what?
Well, I don't stress my controllers. I like a good Elite because I want back paddles, but like I don't even like rumble in controllers.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, not really. On the Xbox controller, rumble is not good. Like, it's too intense. The DualSense, not overly a big fan of it.
So you don't really care about the haptics?
I don't think I care about the haptics.
And the Final Fantasy controller, guys.
Why are their controllers so bad?
I like this one.
Yeah, it's not good.
I was depressed when I bought this.
That's not good.
Why?
The Spider-Man one looks good.
Because my dog's dying.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. But I mean, like, Luke's got the Starfield controller behind him. That controller is beautiful. Like, it is so nice.
It's got rubber,
like every detail, and it's like PlayStation like sticks a sticker on it, and they're like, "Here's a custom one." It's like, come on.
Listen, we're getting there. Look at this controller. Look at this.
That is cool, but I don't think it's the best they could have done. But my question is not about that. My question is not about aesthetics.
There you go. That looks better.
They're friends.
They are friends.
I didn't say they weren't friends. I'm just saying one looks better. You know, you have an ugly friend sometimes. It happens. You know.
But name's Luke.
I want to know. I want to know, guys. Why should I care about this new controller? Because in the hardware deck, they've got 3 tiers of controller now. It's like, why should I care about this? What am I missing? What do I need to learn to understand?
I don't think learn. I think it's preferences. Oh God, the DualShock 4. Oof. I think So for me, like, I don't know about you, Joe, but the series controller is my favorite. I think ergonomically for my hands, it is absolutely brilliant. Like the Starfield controller is damn near perfect. It just needs paddles. So I think Xbox generally, I like their controllers better than PlayStation. That said, PlayStation did make advances with the DualSense, and I think that the haptics can add meaningful things to certain games. Gran Turismo, perfect example. Or like I even like pulling your bow in Horizon, you know, and it just feels like it's notching stuff like that. I also do like the speaker. I think the speaker is actually a pretty cool feature that can be implemented in games. So what I was looking at the Xbox controller as is the best of both worlds. I'm getting the ergonomics, the offset sticks, the things I love about Xbox. I'm getting the things I love about the DualSense. Plus, I don't know if you saw, maybe I misread, tell me if I did, but it said modular thumbsticks, which means you can customize the thumbsticks and replace them. So as we all know, especially if you play competitively, stick drift's a bitch. You know, there's controllers wear out over time. Like as much as I love my Starfield controller, if I use it a lot, it's going to wear down and I can't fix it really unless I, you know, do it myself with parts off of like eBay. But being able to get factory replacements like the DualSense Edge, where you can pull the modules out, really cool. So I think it's just best of all worlds. That's what I was looking at it as.
Yeah. For me, my favorite controller is the DualSense Edge.
It is a beautiful controller.
Yeah, it really, aside from the shitty battery life, this is really fantastic. I love it a lot.
That's your version of the Elite.
Yeah, it's the version of the Elite.
Yes.
I've never held one. That might be what I'm
It's really nice. The ergonomics still aren't as good as Xbox to me personally, and I don't like the triggers as much, but like it's solid, it's got weight to it, and it just it feels like a premium thing.
It's funny because I actually don't like the triggers of the Xbox because I'm used to the DualSense. So like
they're flatter.
They're flatter, which means I accidentally shoot my gun a lot on the Xbox. But like to me, like I know I have the unpopular opinion of like I can use both of these unless it's a Souls game. My fingers naturally need the DualSense, but like I can use both of these controllers and be okay. I don't have like a strong preference. Like I prefer my DualSense, I guess, but yeah, both of them are fine. That being said, though, the what's seemingly the majority opinion, and at least through manufacturers as well, because you see more people do it, is that the Xbox controller is probably the way to go. And so to have, the best of both worlds, that really excites me because I'm like, as a PlayStation fan, that's what I miss when I'm on my Xbox and or my Bethesda boxes. My audience has now coined it. So yeah, now I get to have my the best of both worlds, so I won't miss it as much. I hope, you know.
Yeah, and I For Shaman points out in the chat, he says Hall effect, hopefully. So if you're not familiar with Hall effect, it's basically these like on the thumbsticks, instead of using the kind of, you know, mechanical module that wears out over time that we're all familiar with, Hall effect, those controllers are starting to kind of come in the third party now more and more. You see them. Basically, it uses like sensors to see where the thumbstick is, and they don't wear out. So I'm hopeful that in the future, as he points out, rightly so, that Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendo, all of them, I hope go to Hall effect thumbsticks on their controllers because it's kind of the superior thing.
I hope. I really hope. All right, let's end this show out with
Ashman. I'm sorry, Shaman. I called him poor Shaman. Ashman. I'm sorry, Ashaman. Ashamam. Sorry.
You got it. At least he's trying. He's learning, everybody. Can we talk
trying.
about the
Do you see how white I am?
I know.
It's bad. It's bad.
Yeah, it's he sometimes like skips over Polish names. It's really weird. But that's it, guys. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? PlayStation and Nintendo and technically Xbox had showcases the past week, 2 weeks.
Yeah. I got to be honest with you. I thought PlayStation's was really poor.
Really?
And I thought Nintendo's was okay, but didn't do a lot for me. But that's Nintendo generally doesn't have a lot I'm interested in.
Honest to God, this was just like, we know this is the swan song of the Nintendo Switch, and we don't care either.
Yeah.
It's like,
here's some more remasters. Here's the rest of our library. Yeah.
All right, and we'll see you. We'll see you with the announcement you really care about in a few weeks, probably. I really enjoyed the PlayStation State of Play. I thought there was a lot of games that I'm going to be buying day one. on here, and some surprises that I didn't think were going to be in the show and were. So I like the PlayStation State of Play. I actually thought it was better than the showcase. I want to know where you land, Luke.
I couldn't tell you. I wish I had a better, more informed place, but my schedule didn't let me.
Yeah.
So at best, I read recaps and listened to impressions, and I don't know, fellas. I'm sorry.
How dare you?
About the Season Gaming slacking on their recaps.
Yeah.
The thing I'll say this, Joe. The thing of the State of Play that got to me was I wouldn't call it a bad show. I think that would be unfair, but it felt a lot of been here, done this. So we got. We got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and we got a release date, which is awesome. I know I'm in the minority of not loving that, but I know there's a huge audience for it, so that's great. But we've seen that, and it's great to get the release date, so I get that. But then they show Spider-Man 2 again, and it's like we've seen a lot of Spider-Man. It's fine. Show it again if you want. It's going to be a massive game and success, no doubt. And then it just felt like the funniest comment, I guess I could say, which was from Hogue. It killed me. He goes, "It feels like they uploaded an old one."
Well played, Hogue.
And keep in mind, Hogue is PS5 is his primary platform. Most people, for some reason, think he's an Xbox guy, but he's primarily plays on PS5. He just said that, and I was like, that's what it was. It just felt like there wasn't a lot new here that I really cared about.
Fair. I think that's fair. I think for me, like, I really enjoyed Final Fantasy VII Remake, so I'm in for 19 inches of Sephiroth, though I'm not going to pay $350 for Sephiroth. So like, I'll buy that collector's edition for sure. But like, Rebirth had me. I'm really excited. I think the release date's big news. I actually wasn't expecting to see Marvel Spider-Man, but I got to see more of it, and yeah, I'm super sold. I think some of the cool things that they wanted you to know about, like the quick loading between the characters, I think is super impressive.
That game's going to sell 1 billion copies.
1 billion copies. And then like Resident Evil 4, I know that DLC was coming, but we see my wife Ada Wong, and oh my goodness. And then like Helldivers, we get some meaningful news.
Helldivers 2 does look cool.
I loved the first one. I wish they'd just do more of the first one, and I hate that it's console exclusive because it doesn't feel like it should be.
No,
Helldivers
it should be.
Yeah, but like Helldivers seems like it's going to be a ton of fun, and we got a release date for that. So like, there was a lot of updates for things that they were already in motion with for the most part, but like those updates to me were warranted and got me excited. So like, I'm really in for Avatar, Helldivers, and all that.
You reminded me the other thing that annoyed me. So the PS blog prior to the show said it's going to be third party in PSVR 2. They mentioned PSVR 2. We literally got Ghostbusters, Rise of the Ghost Lord or something Lord.
Something like that, yeah.
We already knew about that game. I literally have a press release from like a month ago about it. And then we got the DLC for Resident Evil 4, which we already knew was coming too. And I'm like, literally, that's all you have for PSVR 2? Like, there's nothing else?
Which is crazy because there's a new PSVR 2 game every single week.
They've actually had a lot of content for it. Yeah, which is, like,
guys, there's more than just Firewall and Sierra Squad. I swear to God, like, show me more Synapse. Like, there's this awesome, like, mage, like, first-person shooter that they have in VR, and it kind of looks like it's straight out of a comic book. Like, there's some really cool stuff here. Please showcase more of it. Please.
Does anyone care? Sorry.
Oh,
Luke's dying over here, guys.
You know what? I care. Damn it. I care.
That said, I wasn't trying to be flippant. I mean, serious. Like,
no. I think it's a fair question. Like, I know Joe and I care, and I talk to some people who really love their PSVR 2, but I need Sony to care.
yeah. Seriously.
And to their credit, as Joe just said, quietly, there's been some really good content releasing for PSVR 2. I think the problem is, and they probably recognize this, look, we already said it, look at the year we're in. There's AAA blockbusters like releasing every week. How do you get traction for a PSVR 2 game in that environment? I don't know.
I don't know either. Because again, there have been, like, Synapse is one of my favorite games I've played this year.
It is brilliant. I haven't even played it that much, but what I played of it was brilliant.
So like, but like at the same exact time, like Horizon Call of Mountain, a beautiful showcase of a title, but like, that ain't the best thing. It ain't the best thing ever. It's pretty. It's really great to look at, but like, it's to me, PSVR 2, it seems like it's defying odds because it's selling better than PSVR 1 at the moment from what we've seen data wise, but like I don't know how, because the way that PlayStation has showed off the content is we complain about it almost weekly on the trophy room. It's like these things deserve more than a Twitter post and a blog post. You know,
Yes.
you have to find out new ways of how to show people VR.
Just have a PSVR 2 showcase, state of play.
Yeah.
Like, why don't you have a state of play dedicated to that hardware?
No,
it doesn't have to be a blockbuster E3 show. Do a 15-20 minute show with a few titles.
It could be like, well, the audience is really small and we don't want to appear like, I don't know, like engagement really matters to them on a social space. So like maybe they don't want the metric, maybe the metric's lower than they'd like, and they don't want to admit that out loud, but I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. So real quick, we'll say, so I've got one thing I want to mention quickly, and then one bigger topic I want to save for when we cast next, which let's aim for 2 weeks, boys.
Okay.
I miss it.
The big thing I want to save for 2 weeks from now, or whenever we do our next show, fingers crossed, is I want to get Joe's thoughts in particular on where PlayStation is post Spider-Man 2. And not in a negative connotation, because it is going, obviously more and more bringing it up. Like, we don't know what PlayStation's doing after Spider-Man 2, which is fair, but I don't necessarily think that means PlayStation's got nothing up their sleeve. They always have something up their sleeve. Yeah. But I'd like to kind of have a more real conversation about what that could be and what's coming. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. They've had a sequel problem in my mind. Like, it's a lot of sequels. And
we've talked about Ghost of Tsushima 2 probably coming, and it's like, okay, like you are going to get sequeled out. So anyway,
if your sequels are for the best games, it's okay to a point, but then it stops.
To a point. Fair. Yeah. The thing I wanted to mention that we haven't mentioned, and shout out to my brother Yago in the chat here, we didn't mention Mortal Kombat 1 on this show yet, and Mortal Kombat 1 is freaking fantastic.
Yeah?
It's so good.
Megan
As
Fox
with every other game that's releasing. Megan Fox's voice acting is so bad, guys. Like, have you seen the clips?
I've seen some of them, yeah. It's like
it sounds like she's just talking into a mirror, like, and she's unamused with herself. That's how bad it is. It's horrible. But the game is amazing, and what Travis raved about, I'm not that far yet because I was doing reviews, but what Travis raved about and other people have said is that the story mode is not only fantastic like the other ones, but, and here's a word you don't expect to hear, it's wholesome. Really? Like, the story mode is actually really like engaging in a nice way with the characters in the new universe that's created in this game. Not to say that the violence and the fighting isn't there, of course.
Yeah,
but just the characters itself.
Out of bodies.
So it is. I'm very early in the story, but I'm loving it so far. And the cool thing about this game is because of the reset of the universe at the end of 11, all the characters are like, they've taken the opportunity to kind of rethink them. So they're either young or they have new personalities or modified personalities. It's really freaking good, guys. It's really good.
I heard my boy Reptile get some due because I always loved Reptile in the movie.
He's a main character.
Yeah,
he's a main character. He looks badass. Like when you do some of his moves now, he literally turns into a full reptile and he'll like grab you by the legs and shake. It's cool. It's real cool.
Dude, that's awesome. I really want to get into this game, but that's a Black Friday sale.
Well, so I was gonna say, we were fortunate at XCP to get codes for several games from Starfield and Phantom Liberty and Crew. Mortal Kombat's the one we didn't get. And
we didn't get it either.
Did you not? And right now, I don't have the money to spend on $100 version because I would want the ones with the characters and stuff. And it's not hard to say, hey, I'll wait a little bit because I love my fighters. I love fighters. I'm not good at them, but I love Street Fighter 6. I just love fighters. But it's easy to say right now, I can wait because of everything else. And that's the problem I think some games are going to have. And that's a shame because I'm missing out on a great fighter right now. But I can wait. It's
really good. It's really good. We had a lobby going, a King of the Hill lobby going on last Friday with some of us playing. Just, Elu was doing the review for us, and
Elu.
He's not as good at mortal as he is Street Fighter,
Bro.
but he's still very competent.
Bro.
But
you know what? This needs to be said, Ains. Elu, I'm pretty sure, closed one eye, had a hand behind his back, and was playing with his nose. And he wiped the floor with me in Street Fighter 6. I was trying so hard, y'all. I was trying so hard.
The sad thing is, you're right. I promise you, he wasn't. He was probably taking it easy on you.
He was probably just barely paying attention, and I was like leaned forward, sweating, like, all right, play with my best characters. No.
I feel really bad for him because he is super well experienced in fighters. He loves them to death. He plays like plays the ones that aren't super mainstream, right? Yeah. And he's kind of become our fighting game review guy because of that. I reviewed MK11 because I'm an MK guy, but since he's kind of filled that role, I do that. We didn't get MK code because, as you guys know, they were really limited, and a lot of sites like us didn't get them. And then Street Fighter 6, we got the day before release.
Yeah.
So like he had already purchased the premium edition at that point. So like our super fighting guy who loves these games to death, we couldn't get either of those games for him to review properly, like for embargo. I was disappointed.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
It is very frustrating.
But anyway, I just wanted to shout out Mortal Kombat 1 because it's yet another game that is out, and now, I've got a review starting. I'm getting Phantom Liberty out tomorrow. I've got a review starting Monday. I can't even mention yet. But again, it's like I won't have time. Next week is going to be spent on that game. I can't say. Literally, I can't say. I'm not going to take that chance.
Maybe off air.
But
well, listen, guys,
so again,
I'm
going to play these
Steam,
games?
y'all. I'm losing Steam. I'm getting tired. I know Luke. He fell asleep.
Luke's been asleep for like 20 minutes. Yeah, no doubt.
Trying, boys. I'm so sorry.
It's what? Real talk here. So like family stuff. My brother got a job as a teacher, and he gets paid more than Luke. That's funny. He like now I'm seeing him go. Oh, dude, I'm so tired. It's like 8 o'clock at night. It's like it's happening.
These kids will wear you out, man.
Yeah.
All right, Luke, close this show, shall we?
Yeah. The good news is you're only getting older.
Yeah.
Soon it'll be all over. Thank God.
Yeah. No, I'm so grateful that we got to have our show. I'm grateful.
I'm already in heaven. Sorry, Luke. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I wanted to say it was great to genuinely be back. Tired as we were. Because for all the reasons we couldn't podcast, a lot of them were real sad or frustrating.
Yes.
And so it's great that we got to have this moment back. I'm so grateful to look over at the chat and see Logan and Pampa and Yago, and For Shaman gave us some good stuff to talk about, which I appreciate.
Not For Shaman. That's what I was calling it. It's Ashamam. Trust me. We just had this conversation in the chat.
I fell asleep to that part.
Yeah. And Gamefire and Silken It and Rob Frawley and all the regulars. OBM's in here. Yeah. So thank you guys.
It really means a lot. And I know we all have our respective shows that you guys choose to support. I think one way or another, each of those 3 shows, Bitcast, Xbox Expansion Pass, and Trophy Room, are all doing work in their own way for Extra Life. So please consider supporting and showing love for them. Because Cast Co-op for us is a fun show, labor of love, and then we have our passion projects outside of it, and find ways to support those shows with likes and views, etc. It means a lot to us, guys. So
yeah, really does.
Yep. And by the way, Luke, anytime you get too tired, we'll just get your stand-in.
I have him on my ship. He's in the engineering deck where he belongs.
I mean, now you can just talk, and it looks like you're good to go. You're wide awake. So it's fine.
So lively. Hey, Ains, could you tell us how we could adopt a dog today? With your life.
I was doing the face.
Luke's doing the face, and Joe's making fun of me for being in heaven. In the eye. I can't sing.
I'll sing behind you, and you'll be Michelle. Go on.
But serious, I'm gonna go ahead and start the closing. Thank you for hanging out with us. Seriously, as Luke said. For SG, just we have reviews up of Crew Motorfest, Mortal Kombat 1, Payday 3, which is just out in early access too. And we have reviews coming for Phantom Liberty Cyberpunk tomorrow. You can check that out on the channel. And we will have Mirage, we will have Forza, we will have all those coming as well. So big review season for us. Thank you for the support as always. And of course, you can check us out on Bigcast on Sunday mornings or Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern. Other than that, I will pass it over. Luke, do your shout out because Joe has to close.
Please check out the Xbox expansion pass. Of course, we did a special episode for all the news. And we've been kind of getting hammered in the YouTube algorithm, particularly as Twitter
and YouTube, man.
It's been hurting. XCP has genuinely taken some hits lately, and that's been rough. Counterpoint, my community's been amazing. They've done so much. They've been just so lovely. And I've, for all the frustrations of algorithms and not being able to get YouTube views, they're so supportive, and they are watching and they're listening, and they're talking to Logan and I, and we've been fortunate to play some great games. So I've been uplifted in a way that I don't think I would have been a year ago if views were down. So it's been really, really nice. So I'll ask everybody to go check out XCP, whatever platform you enjoy. I also do a show called Creator Talk. Miss Deus Geek is a very popular name in a lot of social spaces. She does a lot of unboxings and such. She joined me. That just went live to everybody. Interviews are slowed down a little bit right now for XCP just because I'm busy. But I'm looking forward to getting back. I had one for Avium, which I don't think is going to happen now, which is a bummer. I have one in the works. Hopefully, I don't mind saying it here to the smaller audience. I've been talking to the people about Cyberpunk. Hope it happens. It's been in the conversation, but I'm a small creator. They're a big game, and you never know. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We'll see. But just please support XCP wherever you can, guys. It means a lot. It really does help. So and oh, sorry, no. That's good.
No. I just wanted to add, like, it's so nice to, after 9 weeks of having a break, it's nice to be chatting with Luke Snore and the Ains of Christmas Past. It's just been just really great. I really miss this, guys. I've had a blast tonight chatting with y'all.
You've been waiting to say that for a few minutes, haven't you? You've been loading that one in the chamber.
If the audience, I want y'all to rewind, timestamp when I got the idea, because you see a shit-eating grin just pop up in my head. But no, you can find me, of course, over at Mr. Badbit on Twitter. You can find the Trophy Room on Twitter at PS Trophy Room. And yeah, I want to thank everybody as well, because honestly, Luke, can I get real with you? We kind of had the opposite problem where, like, the summer months really down, and I'm like, it's summer, whatever. And now we're looking to have the best month we ever had. But crossing 500,000 downloads. Awesome. Congrats. But I felt like this year we've been coasting, right? And I think it goes back to the number is a cool thing.
Did you say 100,000?
500,000. 500,000.
Oh, you're for some reason I thought you said 100,000 and you were referring to a month. I was like, Jesus Christ. Oh, that's amazing.
I'm closing in on 100,000.
I'm out of here.
I'm closing in on 100. He's hit 500.
Money.
I got you. Oh, you're talking all time downloads. Okay. Okay.
Jesus,
I'm back.
Not a month. Oof. But no, seriously, like we're seeing awesome growth. But at the same exact time, the thing that's like carrying me through is the community that we're making. It's awesome to see people in there and genuinely just enthusiastic about the show and about PlayStation, just about gaming in general. It's awesome to see, and talking to the community to be more communal when it comes to our Patreon stuff, which there's a few things moving in ways that I really like to see. So I'm excited for the future of the community-based stuff that we have in store. That said, you can find the Trophy Room each and every Thursday, or each and every Wednesday night, rather, here on youtube.com/@PS Trophy Room at 8 p.m., where me and my best friend Kyle talk about the latest and the greatest in all things PlayStation, and each and every Thursday on audio feeds. So go check us out there. And yeah, we're doing some extra life stuff that, guys, I would like for y'all to be a part of, but I'll talk to y'all in a couple of days about. But we're giving away a Spider-Man PS5. Yeah.
Oh, I was joking. You really are.
Yeah, we literally
awesome.
we bought one, and we're going to be giving it away. We're right now. It sucks because I got sick without Kyle's sick, so we're trying to work how it can all make sense. But yeah,
that's awesome. That's huge.
It's a big giveaway for a good cause. So yeah, Extra Life's going to be pretty big this year. So keep your eyes peeled towards all that.
Are we plugging how we're doing Extra Life? Is that a thing?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. Soon.
I meant for like our shows now. Okay, so no.
Oh, DM me by the way, because I do Extra Life as well. So hit me up.
Good. Maybe we could kiss. All right, everybody. I love you all very much, and I'm really sweaty. So keep casting that call. Luke's monkey.